Well, ladies and gents, here we are again with yet another Amphibia analysis breakdown, dissection, prediction, theorizing video, and stuff. Yeah, so I'm just gonna be blunt here and say that clearly you all really want me to get into part B of the episode, aka Olivia and Yunin, more than likely. And thankfully I had common sense enough to simply focus my attention mainly on that particular episode. Part A, of course, will be mentioned, but only will be brief. So as always, you've waited long enough. Thank you all for your patience, and without further ado, let's roll that intro. First things up is the origins of Spider Sprig, where he gallivants around with a suit that he creates from the clothes out of Anne's room after getting inspired by a hero he watches off of television. But it's revealed that supposedly there's already a well-known neighborhood protector known as Robert Otto, which totally doesn't sound anything remotely close to a familiar name that most people are already aware of. Anyways, to save time, Otto becomes jealous of all of the good deeds Sprig does around the city without his help, making Spider Sprig, of course, more popular and more renowned than the once sole protector of the neighborhood known as Robert Otto. Going as far as using the old metal arm that attached from off of the assassination robot that King Andrew sent over to Earth in order to terminate Anne. Something that pretty much confirms his portrayal of an infamous villain in the Spider-Man universe. And someone who I can't wait to frickin' see in another month from now, if you know what I mean. Soon the two become extraordinarily careless in their surroundings as they duel it in the streets for the sake of proving which hero is the best. It all soon comes to a close as Otto's granddaughter gets not only in the midst of the danger, but tells them of their destructive behavior. And so the duo make up and decide to call off the battle in order to fix the millions of dollars worth of property damage that they caused during their little fiasco. With the episode ending in Sprig doing the responsible thing and ending his adventures as a mass vigilante, and with us the audience asking, will we see more of the robot's tech used for innovations in future episodes? Cause though the robot clearly was obliterated within the 5th episode of this season, we are yet to see another appearance of its remaining mechanical parts being used for experiments or even further research about the tech Andrus has on Amphibia. And now, everyone, here is the moment you've all been waiting for, which is the coverage of the second half of this episode with an ending so cryptic, I'm 91% certain that you've already seen it by now. The episode Olivia and Yunin begins with a flashback of both Marcy and Olivia over the castle of Newtopia after Marcy's little stairway fall incident as shown within her very own introduction theme song takeover. But I've decided not to analyze in the exact order as the episode's events transpired, as there are plenty of clues and reveals to discuss about. So much so that playing a game of ping pong going back and forth putting the pieces together would be far too tedious. Let's just knock this one out of the park and get straight into the fact that Marcy becomes the new host of Andrus's master, possibly referred to as the Knight. The episode even teases us with this fact just right before Marcy is being rescued by General Yunin from out of the healing tank, with the label translating to the word host. Oh, and as for the drawing inside of Marcy's room, it just translates to Newtopia map, so yeah. It was also quite interesting to reveal that King Andrus truly was building some sort of a relationship between himself and Marcy, but is willing to do whatever it takes in order to please the Knight and continue accomplishing the works of his ancestors. And we're already aware of his past friendships with others not exactly working out for the best, meaning that his trust for connecting with others in the future may not also be the same. The Knight also seemingly preserves all of Newtopia's greatest minds inside of the vessel, and combining its medical works as well as its ability to conquer death itself by studying and experimenting on both Mossmen and the Shadowfish. So it's a massive possibility that the Shadowfish within the season 2 mid-season finale were actually harmless creatures attempting to communicate and warn Anne and the others of the darkness ahead. Another thing to recognize is the possibility of Sprig's mother being the gem of wit, therefore probably one of the victims from inside of the vessel to fuel Andrus's overlord. Plus, for the 1 millionth time, the Planters' ancestors were notorious for being scientists that studied the inhabitants of mutating plant beings, and was probably one of the things that Loggle was going to reveal to us until Anne friggin' interrupts the guy.
I'll take it.
Wait, really? Don't you want to hear the rest of my cryptic warning?
Nope.
Works for me. Cash or credit?
I do need to mention that this is strictly a theory, but let's be real, I mean, it's all beginning to connect a little bit too well, am I right? Another major detail to discuss is Andrus's crown, which is unveiled to be another link between him and the Knight, with him sharing the ability to have eyes everywhere around the castle, meaning that he could have been aware of Anne and the gang's little basement adventure forbidden by Lady Olivia and more than likely Andrus at the time. This also begs the question, what other capabilities does the crown possess, and And does it have the ability to control the likes of Andreas in case he may betray the night for the sake of saving Marcy or doing something similar? Because as said before, he turned out to admire Marcy, and not only because of her incredible intellect, given how she was the only one to beat Andreas at Flipwart, but also her personality as a whole, possibly having faint memories of someone else he used to admire. This is also a moment within the same episode where he admits to pleading for another host other than Marcy to be the new host for the night. This episode for certain was extraordinarily dark, and it doesn't end with the same happy-go-lucky cheery planter family outro as others did before. Instead, we're given an ominous grim background. But if you listen real closely, it also sounds as if there are noises of a loading computer or some other form of technology of some kind. Clearly, this must be a hint pointing out how technology plays a huge factor into all of this. The robots for the invasion, the tech advancements inside of the ruins, Andreas' castle under construction possibly to continue the same technological evolutions as in his flashbacks. The use of experimentations for the sake of power and corruption, playing God in order to cheat death itself, preserving the minds of geniuses, and there's so much more you can get out of this. This can even go back to comparing how Anne, Sprague, and Hoppadair use technology versus people in the world such as Polly. But let me stop you right there before I make this video into an essay paper that I won't be able to turn in on time, if you know what I mean. Now, the next couple episodes seem to be not so significant, so don't be too surprised if I don't cover it, since I'm gonna need a break for the week coming up. Which reminds me, please spend this Thanksgiving with the friends and family that you love. Happy Thanksgiving. Stop being like these other people who celebrate Christmas 2 months before the date even arrives. And first, be thankful for what you have. This message has been from your boy, The Next Big Thing. And I hope to catch you all in the next one. Peace!